Welcome back to our Non-Toxic Podcast. You are getting me on not a great day. I'm not going to lie to you. But it's not your fault, so I will show up anyways. Here's the thing, guys. I wanted my hormones to be fixed for a very long time. But then whenever I finally get a normal period, I'm angry because it sucks. Anyways, we're jumping right into it today. I hope you're not listening to it in front of your boss and or a man, because no one wants to hear about this. Probably not even you, but here we go anyways, because this is what's relevant to me. As you know, I've been trying to fix my hormones for quite some time in our attempt to sire an heir for my husband. We're trying to grow our family, but it's been challenging. We've had numerous hiccups, which you know if you've been listening for a while, but this is not that episode, so we're not going to go into my entire medical history. But long story short, I've not had a normal cycle at all since August or September of last year. I had a miscarriage. It's not been normal since before that. So it's been quite some time. And recently, we've kind of come to the conclusion, we as in my husband and myself, that it could be as a result of my overtraining, working out too much, not eating enough, unintentionally stressing the body, so on and so forth. We spoke to my doctor about it. We did some research and just decided to maybe pursue that avenue. I put on like 5-ish pounds since we made that decision, which was like, I don't know, 5 weeks ago, 4.5 weeks ago. And I think a lot of the reason that I was losing weight is because I didn't realize I was so heavily under eating. And I was tracking my macros and tracking my protein, but I didn't quite realize the full energy expenditure that I was using every day with how active I am and then how hard I work out. And I was eating to meet my protein goal and eating until I was full, but I wasn't necessarily eating enough calories. So unintentionally, I had put myself into a deficit, which is why I was losing weight and losing body fat so rapidly. I lost like 6% body fat in 5 months, and that's not good, apparently. So with all of that, I've always struggled to sleep. I've always struggled to de-stress myself. I'm just like a pretty high-strung individual, if you can believe that. And with all these factors combined, that I think was the reason that I had stopped having my period, basically. I had stopped ovulating. I had had crazy luteal phases that were super, super short. But without boring you with all the details, hold your applause, please. I had a full normal period, okay? I ovulated. Amazing. Temperature stayed high. We had a full 14-day luteal phase. Didn't get my period days after ovulation. I did, however, get it exactly 2 weeks to the day, and that day was yesterday. So I was so stoked. I was thrilled. I was like, yes, we made it. The plan worked. I didn't gain weight for nothing. This is incredible. And now I'm on like full day one, and I feel like absolute garbage. I feel like the most disgusting, unlovable human being that has ever existed in the course of history. I'm like looking at myself in the mirror, wanting to have a Britney in 08 moment and shave my head. But there's multiple reasons for that, and I'll get into it in a second. But all this to say, I know it sounds dumb and trivial to act like that was a difficult decision for me to make, to say I need to gain some weight, I need to slow down on my workouts, but it really did feel like after a long journey of being not dehumanized, but being a little bit removed from the bodily autonomy I had enjoyed before this whole fertility journey, but what I mean by that is, you know, you become somewhat of a test subject because you're trying to figure out what's wrong. You're getting all this blood work done. They're having you do saliva tests. They're having you do scans, and there's just a million things that you can get poked and prodded by, and by whom and whatever else. So you just start to feel kind of like, okay, yeah, it's my body, but it's not really mine, because everyone's like, well, what's going on with your uterus and what's the cervical mucus like? And just these crazy questions that make you sit back and be like, what are we talking? Like, something's wrong and nobody really knows what it is, and I don't really know what it is. And it just leads to this sense of detachment from your own body and some kind of like your feminism. I don't know, your womanhood. You just start to feel like, if I don't even know what's going on, then how is anybody else supposed to know what's going on? And it is a whole mental spiral. But fitness has been my outlet for so long, and long before this journey, I've loved being active and going to the gym and so on. But this past 6 months or so, it's really been kind of a salvation for me, because it's allowed me to regain that attachment with my body and to be like, well, yeah, maybe I'm not able to do what I want to do as far as conceive and carry a child at this very moment, but look at all these other ways that I can prove to myself that I'm so strong, that I can feel proud of myself, and that I can feel confident, and I do love my body, which I know I've spoken about that before, but it's really felt like a personal thing for me, and it's been something that's carried me through a lot of really dark times. So when I got to this point, realizing that that might also be the catalyst for why we're having continued issues was a really hard pill for me to swallow, because now I'm having yet another thing taken away, quote unquote. And I don't mean to sound like, oh, champagne problems. Can't work out so hard. Your life is still all right, I would say. I know that. I'm very well aware of that. It's just what fitness has represented for me and what that outlet has been able to guide me through. To have that taken away, it wasn't just like, oh man, now I'm not going to have like as defined of abs. That really sucks. Yeah, that also sucks. I won't lie. I'm still a little shallow at my core, but it's worse on the level that whenever I have a really bad day and all I want to do is go to the gym and stay there for 2.5, 3 hours, put my phone in airplane mode and just go to town and completely let the world fall away. You can't do that when you're also trying to rein it back in. And then there's a level of guilt and shame that comes with it whenever you're like, well, this is also hurting and hindering you. So the thing that was helping me mentally was hurting me physically. And I was like, can't a girl do anything at this point? What outlets am I allowed to have that are not going to stress me out? Because I'd already been told that I need to cut back on stress, which is work. So I had cut back on work, and I'm very fortunate that we're in a position that I can do that. There's a million reasons. And I'm like, so what am I supposed to be able to do? Like, what? I really wasn't a heavy drinker before, but I really have not. I've drank probably twice in the past 6 months, like a cocktail or two. It's been very, very difficult to continually have more things kind of taken away and then still see no progress. So getting my period yesterday it felt like a win in the book. We finally got one in the W category. We're feeling great. It was just a long journey of like, okay, well, we'll try this. What else is next? What else is next? And it felt like we were taking one step forward and then 10 steps back, and then one step forward and 10 steps back, and being like, what am I doing? Like I'm doing all this stuff and not even enjoying anything. So that being said, it is a win. I'm feeling very grateful, very blessed to finally have some equilibrium restored. I feel like it's crazy how something so simple as sleeping more, eating a little bit more, working out a little bit less, and trying to reduce your stress can restore things that quickly. I really had planned to go a few months and wait for progress and wait to see what's going on. So the fact that it happened so quickly is fortunate, because I also probably would have been at risk of quitting and being like, screw this, I'm going back to cardio. I feel fat. And the fact that there was progress proves, no, you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. So grateful for quick results, feeling very, very blessed. Thank you, Mother Nature, for showing back up. However, I feel like crap. I had periods between the miscarriage and now, but it wasn't like a full one. They were all out of whack. No one really wants the details, but they were not great. But they weren't comprehensive. Now I'm like, oh, this is the real deal. This isn't like the trailer. This is the full feature film, and I'm not having a good time. On a less insightful note, I'm also going on vacation with my husband on Friday. And before you go on vacation, you got to do all the prep. You have to do all the little rituals, the girl errands. And part of those for me involve getting uglier so that I can then get better looking, i.e. I have to let my full spray tan wear off. And I got my last one 2 weeks ago. It was beautiful. Shout out to Simona Urban Glow. It was amazing. But the timing didn't work out where I could get like one in between because it lasted so long. So now I'm like, it's fully gone. I feel so ghastly pale. I'm pretty sure I'm so translucent. I'm like a plankton. You can see my organs through my exoskeleton. I'm that ghastly, translucently pale, and I hate it. So combine the severe PMS and now menstrual emotions with me being the most pale I've ever been in my entire life. That's not true, but I feel that way. And also having gained a few pounds. And I know that I'm not in any way in a position to be concerned about my weight, but hormones play tricks on you. You also know if you've ever lost weight, even if it was unhealthy to lose that weight and then you gain it, you're still comparing yourself to that version of you, even if it was unhealthy. So even though I can look back at that and be like, okay, I was underfed, I was overtraining, I wasn't having a real cycle. That's not a sustainable physique for me to have and training model for me to use to get that physique. But then I still know that I was able to get that lean and to look that way. So then your mind kind of argues. You have like your shoulder angel, your shoulder demon, and they're arguing back and forth and saying like, well, wasn't it nice to have like really, really nice abs? Or, and then this part's like, don't you want to have a baby? And this part's like, girl, you're getting fat. And then this part of you is like, the female body is beautiful and magical. It doesn't matter what it looks like. And then they're just arguing. And I'm in the middle like, la, 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 la. So obviously I'm mentally doing great right now. But bottom line is I feel pale. I've also been trying not to use heat on my hair. I've been trying to wear it natural this week just to like not fry it before I go on this trip because I have to dye it again tomorrow. My roots are so grown out. You can't even tell because I have black hair, but my roots are brown. So it looks like I have like a receding hairline. It looks like my forehead is just growing. So you combine my ghastly pale skin, my growing forehead, my period acne, my bloating, my cramps, and my weight gain. I have been spiraling so bad this week in a way that's like, I don't know if I can go on. This is really bad. It's not even just in like oh my gosh, I'm unwell. I'm like, I don't want to go in public today. And I know that's so dramatic, but anyone who's ever had a menstrual cycle understands how stupid of a thing can cause you to just like Thelma and Louise off the cliff. And that's where I'm at. So all these dumb things, even just whenever I was getting ready to record this podcast in my kitchen with no one around, I was getting ready and I was like trying to do a cute little updo, a cute headband moment. I had on a full different outfit and I landed on this Boston Red Sox sweatshirt because it just, nothing was jiving. Everything's tight on the waistband. I was feeling so miserable. And you know that moment whenever you're so hot and you're like about to frustrate to cry and you just want to scream and like have a full on toddler tantrum? That's where I was at. And I had to sit down and be like, you are being so crazy. And that's okay because it's not your fault. You've got the hormones, it's fine. But you need to take a little chill pill. We need to take a breather, take a step back. It's really not that serious. And all of it is going to change. Like I know this is maximum going to be like a 5-day thing. Okay. I will de-bloat. I will stop being so hormonal. I'm getting a spray tan tomorrow, literally tomorrow. I'm dyeing my hair tonight. So there are so many things that are going to change. It's imminent, but it's not there yet. And now I feel like I've just gotten worse every day. I've regressed. And yes, I'm still talking about my appearance. I feel like I've regressed physically every single day. I'm like, I'm descending further and further into this pit of like Frankenstein's monster-esque look. And I'm not doing great about it. Because then it makes me think, okay, well, if I'm not looking my best, I don't want to wear a cute outfit because why would I wear a cute outfit if I don't feel my best? And then I don't wear a cute outfit. And then I'm walking around all day like, this is stupid. I feel terrible about myself. It's just cyclical. And again, it's the most trivial, vain, vapid, shallow issue to have. But it feels so prevalent and real because the way that you feel dictates the way that you present yourself, dictates the day that you have, et cetera, et cetera. So I've been really kind of on the struggle bus this week. It's made me like, ugh. And I had a pretty busy week last week, which means that this is a lighter one and I'm preparing for the trip. So it kind of falls in like a weird, I'm half in trip mode because we're leaving on Friday, but also that's a full week of work essentially that I'm still needing to get done. And I looked at the forecast because as you guys know, it rained for like 40 nights and 40 days here, that Sunday was going to be cloudy and gross. Monday was supposed to be beautiful and sunny. So I chose to work all day on Sunday this week, clocked like a solid 7.5 hours without getting up, just like sat there and did my little videos and did my content, did everything else, got it all done. So all I've had to really do this week is do my shoots and then edit from those shoots. So I've been able to stay ahead pretty easily, which is nice. But since I did so much of the work earlier, it's left me in this weird spiral of like, okay, I've got a decent amount of time and there's things to do on my to-do list, but I'm not in like an urgent rush state to where I need to get them done. I'm more of in like, yeah, I've got some time. And I have a hard time with the middle ground. If I have a complete empty slate, open schedule, I can really dive in and manufacture some things to do. If I have a jam-packed schedule, I can pivot, I can be quick, I can motivate. But whenever it's that weird limbo of like, there's enough things to do that I can't fully like relax or do what I want, but there's not enough things to do or enough of a time crunch to warrant me going into DEFCON 10, that's whenever I start to get like short-circuited. So that's exactly what's been going on this week. I've had like 1 or 2 shoots a day, nothing crazy, ample time to edit, ample time to do chores. But then I keep also thinking, well, I've got, 3 or 4 more days until we leave. Then I procrastinate. Luckily now we're kind of getting into crunch time and I feel like that's good for me. We're getting into the time where more things are going to happen. Not only am I going to finally be able to feel like a living human being again, appearance-wise and physically, but we're getting to the point that things get fun. So I get to start packing. I was getting my nails done, but I did break one of them, so I will be going to get that fixed shortly after this. Jam-packed day, I know. But it's been an emotional roller coaster, and not for any significant reason. That's the craziest part, is that not one thing that has been bothering me this week has even been worthy of speaking out loud. But here I am talking about it for 15 and a half minutes because it feels real to me, and it just put me in a strange mood. So there we are. I feel ugly, and I've been on the struggle bus. But whatever. I also haven't gotten any groceries this week because we're about to leave. So we're out of everything. And this morning I woke up and I was going to have black coffee, which is what I've been drinking all week. And for some reason I was like, I'm not doing that today. It's fine normally. It's not fine today. I want a latte, and I don't care. I'm going to go on a trek for it. So I marched my little self out of the house at 7 a.m. in my slippers, my smiley face slippers, my flannel pajamas, big old sunglasses, ratty hair. If you can imagine, this is the put together version of my hair. So can you imagine how it was whenever I woke up? Terrible. No makeup, nothing. Straight out of the house, went and got a latte, came back, and I was driving back and I'm like, this is actually really nice. The windows are down. It's freezing cold outside. But of course I was feeling very toasty because of hormones. And the music was playing, the birds were chirping. Until I got caught in a school zone, I was really at peace. I was like, this is nice. Maybe I should venture out to get a coffee more often. So that was a treat. We're still kind of finishing it here, but that's okay. The day is young. We're still caffeinating. And it made me start to think about the little rules that we have for ourselves, because like on Sunday, whenever I looked at the forecast and truly made my whole work schedule based on when the sun was going to come out this week, and that's typically how I am in the summertime. I like to do all of my work during non-UV hours, so I'd rather work like a full night shift than work during the day while it's sunny outside. And it took me a while to realize that's totally feasible. When you're self-employed, you can kind of do what you want. As long as your work gets done and you're communing with your clients, during their work hours, then you can do whatever you want to do. So I have been, and it made me think, what other rules am I just abiding by because it feels like that's what we're supposed to do? Like, I'm talking tiny little rules, as in, well, why would you go get a coffee just to come back home? For some reason, I've always just been like, well, I'm not leaving the house today, so why would I go get a coffee? Why not, girl? It's right up the street. It's 5 minutes away. Not every day. That's going to make Dave Ramsey roll over in his grave that he's not even in yet. But I feel like that combined with working on a Sunday so I could go on a leisurely walk at 11 a.m. on Monday afternoon. That's not afternoon. You know what I mean? It's nice. And I have these moments where I'm like, oh, it's nice. I can just go outside. I could go work in the hammock right now. There's not really a rule against that. But I almost think there's some kind of mental block that I have where it's like, well, life can't be too easy because that's not fair. Like it can't be that good. And I always get that during the summertime whenever I will work until I'll do like 7:45 to 11 a.m. and then go to the pool for a couple hours and then come back and work again and then go to the gym and then come back and work again. And I'm like, I'm doing everything I want to do during the day, every day. Like I'm going to the pool, I'm going to the gym, I'm doing whatever else. That shouldn't be allowed. I shouldn't be allowed to be at the pool in the middle of the day on a Wednesday. But then I'm like, why not? I'm getting the work done. I work for myself. What's the point? So I do grapple with that all the time. And I have to remind myself, like, if I'm the one that's taking the risk and doing this, then I should be the one that also gets to reap the reward, because no one's feeling bad for me or giving me kudos whenever I'm having rough nights and I'm super late working and clients are stressful and X, Y, and Z. No one's clapping for that. So then why would I have to apologize whenever I get the good side of it? You know what I mean? No one really actually cares enough to do either. So I should do what I want to that point. And that's where I think the rules at least come from in my head, where it's like, well, you shouldn't go grocery shopping at 9 o'clock at night. That's dumb. It's actually way better. There's no one at the store. It's so empty. It's actually really enjoyable. It feels like a little side quest. And that's what Austin and I do every single week. Sometimes multiple times a week. We go shopping at night, and it's way, way better. It's less overstimulating, and it feels kind of like zombie apocalypse vibe, can be kind of fun, kind of cute. I don't know. So maybe think about the rules in your life that you're adhering to and try and break one or two this week. That's what I'm getting up to. And a lot of that has just been, again, the dumbest things that you can imagine. We're going to Scottsdale on Friday. This is our annual little couples trip that we try and take. And we took pretty much the exact same trip last year. We went also to Scottsdale almost the same week, but it's just a beautiful place that we're going to. It's easy flights to get there. And this is the last week that my husband's company is not super slam and jammed, because his industry, which is masonry, gets very busy in the spring and summertime, which is near. So this is pretty much the last time that we can get away before it gets really busy. And then of course he's busy through the fall, which leads to the holidays, and then we can't go. So we go in April. So much fun. I'm very much looking forward to it. It'll be beautiful and relaxing and full of vitamin D. And it's also a little bit of a sad time just because this was supposed to be our due date month. And this is now the second due date month that has come and gone. And we have, spoiler, no child, which is very sad. And I'm not feeling especially emotional about it at the moment just because I'm feeling emotional about much dumber things. And I think I've just become a little bit callous to it because I know that this is my reality and this is where we're at. But I feel a little bit of renewed hope just because now I am having a normal period. It feels like, all right, we're back on track somewhat. We're at least in the realm of possibility. I'm not just dragging my feet and like hoping that things will miraculously come together. Now it feels like we've actually got a shot here, which is good. But that being said, it is very disappointing and pulls on your heart whenever you're like, oh, this was supposed to be the month that like something crazy and amazing happened. And here we are crying about being pale. Not him. He's not doing that. But you know what I mean? It just feels like this was supposed to be different. And even the other day, I was shopping and kind of looking for some last minute things like, oh, I want a new swimsuit for this trip because I don't really have a good one because I always wait until the end of the season because I'm like, I'm not paying $40 for a swimsuit. And I forget that this is 2025 and swimsuits just cost that much or more. Anyways, I was shopping and I finally bought myself a nice swimsuit and I was like, this is awesome. And then I had a real, like, I don't know, just moment of clarity where I'm like, you were supposed to be having a baby right now and you're buying a swimsuit. And it was just the most sobering, like, well, shit moment. And it kind of like snatched the breath out of me. And I was like, that really, I wish I hadn't thought that. I wish my subconscious had kept that to herself, but she didn't. And it's just, it's great to be where we're at and to be able to go on this trip and have fun. And I love the time with just the two of us. And I love, you know, this quiet stage of life. And I know that one day I'll be where all of my mom listeners are, where you're like, girl, cherish it. It's so loud. It's nonstop. Everything is sticky. I know that day will come and I'll be like, was I really complaining about being able to go to the mall on a Monday and buy a swimsuit and go on a trip? Like that's so champagne problem. It's so trivial. It's so silly, but it still feels empty to me sometimes. And then I have this constant back and forth of trying not to take it for granted and being like, you got to be present. Your worst days are still someone else's best days. And like, there's just so many rivaling emotions. And then also being like, well, this is still a bad day for me. I don't need to feel bad for it. And that's just constant. It's like a constant discourse, just back and forth. So all that to say, I am excited for this trip and to get away. But then there still is like this kind of elephant in the room of my brain that just reminds me that you're going on this trip because you had a miscarriage. Like you're going on this, you're able to go on this because things didn't work out how they were supposed to. And that makes me sad. So if you guys see me throwing up a swimsuit photo just shamelessly on Instagram, you better like and comment and drop some flame emojis and say, oh, hot dang, you look fabulous, because I'm sad. I'm not afraid to say it. Anyways, yeah, not me pandering for engagement online, but it's tough out here. You don't actually have to do that. Just know that I don't want any judgment from anyone based on the amount of content that I'm sharing, because so what if I'm compensating? All right, whatever makes me happy, wherever I can get a little squirt of serotonin, we're going to take it. I'm sorry I said squirt. That's really not a good verb. Whatever. Okay, let's get real. But first, let's do the report. First, hold on to your hats. I actually read a book. I know, crazy. I read The Silent Patient. It was amazing. Everyone's been saying that it's so great for so long. It's on everyone's reading list. It's like on every list ever. And I did flatter myself and think, oh my gosh, everyone says this plot twist is so amazing. I'm definitely going to guess it. It can't be that good. Like you guys, it's probably a good plot twist for everyone else. But like, I'm a pretty good reader. No, it got me. I was so shocked. I was like, Austin seriously was like, are you okay? What's going on? I'm like, no, this was, I need a minute to process this. It was that insane. If you haven't read that book, I highly, highly recommend. It was one of those I almost want to go back and read just to appreciate how the author did this so masterfully. It was incredible. Next, what am I eating? A lot of turkey bacon. It's my hyperfixation food. I don't know. I have turkey bacon every single morning except for today because I'm also out. Like I said, it's been a rough go today, but it's okay. Turkey bacon, love it. Playing. If you guys watch Stranger Things, you know Steve Harrington. Steve Harrington is in a band called Joe. The band is amazing. They have so many of my favorite songs, and they just came out with a new album on Friday called Crux, and it's beautiful. and I've been listening to it a lot. My favorite song, actually, I don't know if I have a favorite song. My favorite song right now is Link off that album, and it's amazing. I've been listening to it on repeat. Before the album came out, I was listening to a lot of Bob Dylan, a lot of David Bowie, a lot of like 70s, I don't know, plucky, easy listening. I can't explain it. It makes me happy. Next, Obsessing, Thunderbolts. This isn't going to change. The movie comes out May 2nd. I already bought tickets, obviously. I have silver body paint in my Amazon cart, and I'm like, how crazy am I going to be about this? We all know the answer is very crazy, so stay tuned for that one. Next, recommending go outside. I'm sitting right by a giant window, staring into a ring light, and all I can think about is how nice it's going to be after this to take my laptop, go outside, and get some work done with a nice cool breeze until I get probably agitated and come back inside. Next, what am I treating myself to? I'm so glad you asked. I am treating myself to a spray tan, getting my nails done, dyeing my own hair with black box dye in the bathroom, probably way too late at night tonight. I also signed up for Newly, so that's the clothes subscription, whatever, website app, and I will be reporting back to let you guys know how I like it. But I decided that I don't need to buy new outfits all the time because I end up buying just cheap outfits that I'm never going to wear again. I'm like, well, I could rent them and actually wear nice clothes, and it's probably better for the environment and better for everyone. Whatever. So we're going to try this out and see how it works. I rented a bunch of outfits. I thought way too carefully about the color scheme and the silhouettes and varying the highs and the lows of my dress hemline, things that no one cares about, but I do. And I love every single outfit that came in. So stay tuned for that again. You'll see it on Instagram. And that's really it. I'm so stoked to pack. The preparation for a trip is always my favorite part. Going through this whole ritual, even though I hate getting uglier, I love getting better looking. So I do enjoy it whenever it gets to the fun part. Right now I'm straight up not having a good time, but that's temporary. But I love the preparation. I love the Pinterest scrolls. I love the moment whenever you shut your computer and you're like, you're not coming with me. This is going to be so great. Everything is done. You put your phone on Do Not Disturb. You don't take it off for the foreseeable future. You set your auto replies in your email. I love it. It's all amazing. I love packing. I love going to the airport. I love every single bit. So I'm very, very excited for this week to come. That's it. That's what I'm excited for. Okay, now let's get real. You guys, I'm in a weird spot with this podcast. I'll be honest with you. I feel like I am just in a slump, like a creative slump. And you can probably tell, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like I can tell that I have not been putting out episodes that are at the caliber that I like them to be. And I don't know how to explain that. But whenever I'm recording, sometimes it feels like I'm flowing, like, okay, that was funny. Things are coming naturally. I don't feel like I need to pause and collect my thoughts. It just feels like it's going. And it just hasn't felt like that. I've had a few weeks lately that have, but some just haven't. Obviously, I took a break last week, and I didn't even really have a good reason. I had the time. It was just my brain wasn't there. And I truly don't even have a good reason, besides I don't think my heart is in it the way that used to be. And that makes me so sad because this is episode 116. I've been doing this for 2.5 years, and I love it, and I love the connection with the listeners, and I love the conversations that we have and the messages. I love hearing from you guys, but I don't love doing it anymore. And that makes me really sad because I know that I used to. And I know that I used to all week like make notes in my head of, I can't wait to say this and look forward to it and think this is going to be so much fun whenever I get to record again. And I just lived for it. And now it feels like there's just not, like I'm digging for that kernel of joy in this process, and it's just not here to be found anymore. And I don't know if it's just because I feel like I've said all there is to say. I'm not really having epiphanies to share with everyone. And I don't think that people tune into this for like spiritual or emotional guidance. No one's getting their therapy or their life coaching from me, which is a blessing if you ask me. But I just don't think that I have anything important to say. That sounds really, like, depressing. I don't mean it in that like no one even cares about me and no one's listening. It's just that I feel like I've done this before. I feel like I've said everything there is to say. I get on here, I talk about my interests, they haven't changed. I talk about my habits, they largely haven't changed. And I'm always learning something, but I am always coming on here and continually sharing about how I'm trying to learn something, I'm trying to overcome something, I'm trying to get better. And I feel like that must be exhausting to listen to an extent, to be like, you're always working on something. Like you're always figuring something out and you're always trying to get there, but I'm not quite there. And I know that's the human experience. I know that's life. But from a perspective of someone creating, I'm like, I don't know that I'm creating anything worth listening to right now. And I am always going to be biased because there's a certain level of, I don't know, arrogance that comes with having any kind of a platform or a podcast or a YouTube channel or anything, because somewhere deep down you're like, well, someone's gonna listen to it. So you have to have some level of delusion to think that you have something worth sharing or worth saying. But for me, the bigger part was always that I loved creating. I genuinely love sitting down and recording something or talking about something or making a video. I love doing that. So the process of creating it and seeing it come to life was just as much fun for me as the output, if not more. I would even say it's like 70-30. And lately the creative process for me has just been dwindling. It hasn't been bringing me as much joy because I'm like, I don't feel as connected to these ideas or what I have to say, and I'm not getting these topics that are like spark so much joy. I'm like, I can't wait to talk about this. I can't wait to share it. It's just been more of like, I need to record for this week. And that's why I took a little break last week, because I felt like the week prior it just felt clunky. It didn't feel good. I was listening to it and editing and I was like, this is terrible. This is not even good. I'm not being funny. Nothing is good. I'm not communicating my ideas. It doesn't make any sense. And I know that I'm probably my own harshest critic, but at the same time, I recorded the whole thing and then wasn't even proud of it. And then I put it out, didn't even post about it because I'm like, it was mediocre. It wasn't even that great. And what's the point then? Like, what am I doing if I'm recording these things and then my heart's not in it, so then the product isn't great, so then I'm not proud of it, so I don't promote it, so then the episode doesn't do as well, and then I'm like, well, no one's listening anyway, so what's the point? It's like I'm just defeating myself in this cycle. And I know myself enough to know that whenever something has like shut off in my brain, it's very difficult to turn it back on. And I feel like the podcast, it has kind of shut off in my brain, and it makes me sad because, again, this is 2.5 years of my life, but at the beginning it was something that I could do with Brie, and it was so much fun, and it was inspired by these great conversations that we would have over coffee or whenever I was, getting Botox done and in her injector's chair. It was so fulfilling. And then obviously she had life circumstances change. Then I took it over by myself, and that was so fun for a long time because it gave me something that was really mine and that I got to focus on. And it's very healing for me going through difficult times and getting to be honest and vulnerable and share with everyone, and just get to hear from so many women who've experienced similar things, and to get to hear that hopefully my story has helped people feel more heard. And that has been so cataclysmic in my journey. But now I feel like I'm in a weird spot where I feel like my role here has kind of run its course, and I don't know if I'm just in like a strange stage of life where my feelings aren't, like, they're kind of tricking me. And this isn't something that I've just decided this week. I know that the beginning of this episode makes it very clear that I'm feeling volatile right now, but this has been on my mind for a while now. And I know I took the break back in October, and I kind of thought, coming back to it, I'll feel amazing. And I did enjoy it at the beginning, December and January, I had some good episodes that I'm really proud of, but I just feel like I've been grasping and like trying so hard to keep that feeling and to keep that creative spark and keep that energy. And it hasn't been there like it used to be. And I just don't enjoy putting something out that I don't feel as proud of. And then I go back and forth, and I think there are some people that are so great that have listened to every episode, which still blows my mind. And the thought of stopping makes me sad because I feel so grateful to have had people that have listened to every nonsensical, useless word that has come out of my mouth for 2.5 years, which is crazy. And I love the community, and it feels so strangely validating to be seen and to have people know what you're going through. But then I also have been doing so much kind of simplifying in every aspect of my life, my professional life, my fitness journey, my spiritual, like everything has just been getting so simple and so clean and so organized and just very well-paced and quiet. And it's been very nice. So then part of me is like, maybe this is the time for a change. Maybe this is the time that I should take a little step back and then just see what comes of it. What creative project would come into the place of this if I don't have it? And being able to end this whole podcast arc on a note that I'm proud of versus continuing to kind of write it out and be like, well, I gotta do it, I guess. And then putting out something that I don't think is good. And maybe you're listening and you're like, this is the same as every episode has been for the past, I don't know what you're talking about. They've been the same quality, the same everything else. And that is a terrifying thought. But I don't feel connected to the things that I'm saying as much as I used to. I don't feel like I'm coming in here and just giving you something good to listen to. So again, I know I'm not doing anything revolutionary here. I'm not Mel Robbins or anyone else that probably has given you life-changing advice. But I used to be very, very proud whenever I would turn off the microphone and edit the episode and just think, I feel like I poured myself into this episode, and lately it just felt more like the faucet is dripping and not pouring. And that, again, that sounds so depressed to be like, oh no, I'm not in it. I promise you it's not that. I feel good. I feel like I'm in a good place mentally. I just don't feel as connected to this outlet right now and this project, which makes me sad. And I really have thought about this at great length to think, okay, am I in a slump? Do I need to rebrand? No, I just did a rebrand. Do I need to change something? Do I need to start having guests on again? Do I need to do this? I've had so many different processes go through my head of ways to maybe combat this slump that I'm in, and none of them have made me want to bite. Everything is just like, I could do that. I don't know. I think I'm at a point that I don't know if I want to continue. And I don't want to say it because I don't want it to be real. I kept thinking it would pass and I would be like, oh no, I feel great again. That was crazy. But it's not. It just feels like the natural end should be no. And I've thought about maybe doing every other week for a little bit just to see if I have more peace with that. Like there's 2 weeks for things to happen in my life. I don't feel as repetitive, and that's only 2 episodes a month. It's really not that much to do. But again, I don't want to continue to drag something out just to let it be like the 9th season of The Office where you're like, I mean, yeah, I'll watch it, but like it's not as good as it used to be. I don't want to do that. I want to end it while it's still good. And I know good is like a relative term. I want to end it while it still feels good to me versus continuing to put something out and then question like, oh, do I even want to share this with the world? It just doesn't feel as good on the creative side. So it really does hurt my heart and soul to say that because it's been so amazingly powerful for me for so long. And I have an album on my phone called Pod Happies, and it has screenshots, I swear, of every single review, of every single comment, of every single message I've ever gotten about this podcast. And they make me feel so seen and so happy and so validated. And they have been like some of the things that have helped me at really low points to know that someone's listening and that someone cares and someone has been through the same things that I have. It's been so instrumental in so many of my happiest days, my most fulfilling creative accomplishments. And I want that, but it doesn't outweigh this nagging feeling that I just feel like I'm overstaying my welcome here. I don't know. That might not make any sense. And you guys are like, what are you even talking about? Just go record once a week. I need something to listen to on the treadmill. I'm sorry. I really am. I want to be able to be on again. It's not there. I don't have the same, I don't know what to say. It's just not there. And I promise, don't be concerned for me. I'm doing great. I'm doing fine. I'm doing adequate. I'm doing fine. But it's not like I'm so sad I have nothing to say, I'm depressed. It's not that. It's just I don't feel like I'm putting out something that I'm proud of anymore. And that's where I want to draw the line. And maybe I'll take some time off and come back and be like, nope, I had a brilliant idea, stroke of genius. I can come back. Listen, the episodes are going to stay up. I'll still have all the channels. I can start posting again if I feel like it. If I have a crazy story or I just really feel like yapping for a while, maybe I'll throw one up every so often. But no promises. I'm going to go on this trip. I'm going to think about it. I'm really going to pray about it and just think, is this the end? But guys, I think it might be. I don't know. I'm thinking that this might have to be goodbye for now. Don't cry. Really don't. It makes me sad and uncomfortable. I don't know what to do. Yeah, it's getting weird. All that to say, if you have listened to any episode for any amount of time, for any duration in any period, just know how much that means to me and how thankful I am. And it's been such a fun journey and I want to say a wild ride, but it really hasn't been a wild ride. It's just been so fun to grow and to change and get to share that with you guys. And, so much has happened to me in my life and my heart and soul as I've been sharing this. So even just to go back and kind of listen to old episodes, if I can get over the initial cringe of listening to myself speak at Mach 7, why do I talk so fast? I don't know. But if I can get over that, then I just look back and listen, and I really do marvel at how much has changed and how different I am from that point to now. And it's crazy to have this time capsule in a way of my personality and how I've grown and changed, but also what parts of me have stayed the exact same. It's really special. So not that I really like listening to the old episodes, just because, again, I listen to it and I'm like, what is she? She talks so fast. How do you guys listen to this? But I can't stop. That's just who I am. That's why I choose not to listen to the episodes before I release them. For better or for worse, that's fine. It's been an amazing time in my life. I just think it's kind of coming to an end, and I'm very sad, but I also have a lot of peace about it. So if something changes and I'm like, you know what, this is crazy, I'm coming back. Maybe you'll see an episode pop up next week. I'm just saying, don't hold your breath for that one because I don't want to be responsible for your asphyxiation. Anywho, yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for listening. This has been a man. Again, I'm saying this has been jumbled and chaotic and as if it's something you don't know, but I wish I had something else to say to explain this. I just don't. But I've loved sharing my life with you, and I've loved talking with you about it. And every single time someone tags me in Treat Yourself Friday things, or gives me the report, or takes a coffee recommendation and goes to get something from Urban Grounds, or tags me in something that's like ChatGPT or Marvel related or Thunderbolts or Spider-Man, anytime anyone tags me in something that they know about me because of this podcast, it really does make me feel so happy, and I hope that doesn't change. But the episodes are going to stay up. You guys can listen to any of them that you want to. You can never listen again. You can decide that you are no longer going to engage with any of my content and block me if you're very upset about this. But something tells me that my role in everyone's life is not significant enough to elicit that kind of emotional reaction. But with that being said, thank you once again for listening, for the role that you've played in the last 2 years of my life, 2.5 years. Thank you for all the memories, the events, and the there was one event. Thanks for the event. Thanks for all the messages. Thanks for the reviews. Thanks for the kindness. Thanks for everything. Truly, thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the depths of my soul. Let's not get too emotional here. But thank you for listening. I hope you guys have all mountains, no valleys this week. I hope you treat yourself on Friday. I hope you feel the sunshine. I hope your coffee is strong. And I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye.